And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
A 46-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use.
It's not like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios.
Boxing legends are weighing in on Manny Pacquiao's fight against Mario Barrios. Terrence Crawford says Barrios is a good matchup for Manny, but admits that Pacquiao's age at 46 makes things unpredictable. Crawford calls it a 50-50th fight he respects. Pacquiao's legacy but questions how much he has left in the tank.
Have you got any thoughts on that fight with Mario Barrios, and is there any chance we see you still in there at 46?
Nah, at 46, I don't plan on being back in the ring, but Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao. And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
Sugar Ray Leonard's message goes beyond boxing. He speaks about courage, self-belief, and inner strength. As a legend himself, Leonard knows the pressure that comes with greatness. He encourages Pacquiao to follow his heart and brushes off concerns about age, saying, "It's not the number, but the mindset that defines an athlete's ability." His words reflect deep admiration and show that belief and passion can still break barriers, no matter the age. Asterisk.
Pacquiao, at 46, about to make his way back into the ring. I saw him training this morning, but a lot of people are worried about him. He's been inactive. Bob Arum, his longtime, guy, even said, I don't want to see him get hurt. Rooting for him, but I don't want to see him get hurt. What do you think as a guy, who's probably thought about getting back in the ring a few times? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think?
Well, actually, I can't comment too harshly on that because I've made more comebacks than everybody. I hold a record, undisputed.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, do what you want to do, man.
Do you think the idea of like inactivity when you have somebody who lives his life to do it is a big deal?
It is a big deal, man. I mean, there's no one thing that will really make people understand why we do what we do. But you know what? God bless. Stay healthy. And take care.
Hey, last thing, like he's fighting a 30-year-old. What do you think? What would that be like, running with a motor like that? Later in your years, like against a 30-year-old motor, against like your body's just different. I'm 41, so like I know my body's different than it was when.
You're a baby.
But what do you think about that? Like the motor difference between a 30-year-old and a 46-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use. Again, there's no way to answer this, but stay healthy.
Manny Pacquiao's return has reignited excitement in boxing. Legendary announcer Michael Buffer called it an epic comeback. He pointed out that great fighters often return when they stay sharp and disciplined. Buffer praised Pacquiao's form in training and made it clear this isn't just about reliving the past. Pacquiao looks serious, competitive, and prepared. Unlike other comebacks that feel like marketing stunts, this one feels real. Buffer's support reminds fans that passion and preparation still matter, even for legends.
Manny's one of your favorites all time. He's coming back now. He was off for 4 years. I've been watching him train every day. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's sharp as could be.
And I wish him well. Big George, God rest his soul, was 45 when he won the heavyweight title. Bernard was about 43, 44, 45 when he won his third world title. So, I mean, listen, miracles can happen. He's focused, he looks fit, and I wish him well. I love him. Wish him the best.
Mutual.
Picture?
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Trainer Abel Sanchez gives a fair take on the fight. He admits it's risky to face someone like Barrios, young, active, and dangerous. But he also reminds us that boxing has a history of surprises. Just because something seems unlikely doesn't mean it's impossible.
To tell them to hang him up, he's older, he's been out of the ring, He's fighting I'm not gonna say a young champion, but he's fighting a very decent champion. Probably uh, the lesser of the three of the welterweight champions. But he is getting up in age. Will he be able to recapture some of that speed and snap to his punches? Who knows? But George Foreman did it at a much later age. So Manny has a chance. I think that he has a chance against a good champion.
Do you feel like with Mario Barrios in particular, then it's a champion they've targeted because in his last performance he didn't really, set the world alight. It was a draw, and he's left a few question marks around himself.
Not only that, the other thing is Norman is is a very good fighter, and so is Boots. I mean, you're talking about two very good fighters that are, I think, on a different level than Barrios is.
Do you feel like that this could be the risk where, let's say, if Manny was to have success, was to become champion again, then he then looks at it and thinks, "Oh, can I go on a run? Can I get one of these other names?"
That is a big risk, but I don't think that would be the fight that. Well, those two wouldn't be the fights that they would be looking for. I'm sure that if Manny is fortunate enough to be in great shape, and listen, Freddie's a master. Freddie will figure out a way to win a fight that's winnable, and maybe then guide him towards other.
The comparison to George Foreman shows that wild comebacks can happen. Oscar De La Hoya takes a more cautious stance. He respects Pacquiao's ambition, but worries about the risks at age. 46, De La Hoya warns that physical readiness at that age needs a smarter, safer approach, and overtraining could backfire. He doesn't make bold predictions, but instead highlights the challenges older fighters face. His words add a more serious tone to the excitement surrounding the fight.
You're 46 years old. You have to remember that. So give your body some rest. Rest right now is Manny Pacquiao's friend in between training, in between sparring sessions. There's no shame in taking a day off or two, Manny. Trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced. He's got obviously the power because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, I mean, the youth is obviously with him in this corner.
Trainer Robert Garcia shares a respectful but realistic view. He praises Pacquiao's past but doesn't ignore the effects of aging. Garcia warns that even the best athletes struggle against younger, stronger opponents. He's not doubting Manny's. Harder skills, just pointing out that time catches up with everyone, no matter how great.
Retirement. Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, I just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for I'm just 4 years older, 3-4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. But I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition where against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been out. That'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it. and he's actually one that could do it.
Analysts Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora give Pacquiao's comeback credibility. Mora notes that Manny's speed and footwork still look sharp, showing he's been training seriously Ivan during retirement. They say this isn't just a media stunt. It's a well-planned return compared to other quick, shallow comebacks. Pacquiao feels disciplined and real. That's why expectations are growing fast.
Left, ready to go again, working with Freddie Roach. I feel like I'm back in 2010, the Wayback Machine. Pacquiao looked pretty good in some of the videos that I saw, like he wasn't in horrible shape, but he is 46 years old, going up against a guy that is more than a decade younger than him in Mario Barrios. Bob Arum, in the same interview, he said that he was worried about Manny Pacquiao. This is a guy that promoted Pacquiao for most of his professional career, not promoting this fight against Barrios, but he said he is concerned for Pacquiao going into this fight. Do you have concerns about Pacquiao going in?
No, I don't have concerns. And look, I can post a video and look good for 10 seconds right now. Just like when Mike Tyson looked like a killer when he was promoting the Jake Paul fight. You writers and you guys with the non-boxing, I need to get those videos out of your head, because they're just clips. Anyone could look good for that long. I can train you to look good for 10 seconds. It'll be pretty hard, but I can train you to look good for 10 seconds on video. So don't worry about that. I look, Bob Arum knows what he's talking about, because it's the legs that's going to get to Pacquiao, not the power, not the explosive speed in front of a heavy bag. But whenever you're in front of opponent and he's going to be moving around, it's the legs that are going to fail you. They're going to betray you. The power's not going to betray you. That lasts until the very end. His punch resistance, that's not going to betray him, because that never goes. Speed, and it's because you rely on your legs. That's the thing that goes at age. So at 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao's not going to have zero legs.
Jesse Rodriguez doesn't sugarcoat it. He warns that youth gives fighters a clear advantage, especially in later rounds when stamina matters most. While he respects Pacquiao's career, Rodriguez sees the harsh truth. A 46-year-old returning to elite competition faces serious physical disadvantages. His warning highlights just how dangerous this comeback could be.
Barrios, you got your boy Barrios fighting Pacquiao, man.
Yeah.
You know, a legend. What do you think Barrios needs to do in that fight against Pacquiao, man?
I feel like he has to keep Pacquiao on the outside. He has a height and reach advantage, so I feel like he just go out there and do what he's always done.
What's your prediction for that fight?
Mario Barrios victory.
Do you think it goes all 12 rounds?
I think he has what it takes to stop Pacquiao.
You surprised Pacquiao's coming out of retirement at 46?
I'm very surprised. I don't think anybody expected that. So,
one fan said Barrios needs to use his height and reach to keep Pacquiao on the outside. He believes if Barrios sticks to what he does best, he can beat Pacquiao and maybe even stop him. He admitted he's shocked Pacquiao is returning at 46. Meanwhile, analyst Teddy Atlas adds a new angle. He points out that Barrios isn't a natural welterweight. That size factor could actually help Pacquiao. Atlas's breakdown makes the fight look more even than some might think, adding strategic interest to the match.
He's not naturally as big a man as those other welterweights. So start there. That's a fair point. He moved up in weight, Barrios. So he's not a naturally big, natural welterweight. And of course, we understand Pacquiao has moved up. My God, I don't even know when he first turned pro. You would have thought maybe he could have been a jockey.
Yeah,
I mean he was
108 pounds, right?
Yeah, jockeys are about 105 pounds, I think, somewhere around that neighborhood. I mean, can you imagine him though going to the whip? He might have killed the horse. That's the only thing. Yeah, you would have had Petter. What is it called? Peter, whatever. Peter. You would have had Peter coming after you. You know, look what he did to this horse. You know, but look, I love Pacquiao. One of my favorite people. One of my favorite fighters in the whole world. He's moved up from like whatever. Incredible weight. People forget about that. That's why I brought it up. How many weight classes this man has really moved up. Incredible. Just incredible. But now, yeah, Barrios wouldn't be as big as those other guys, but he's still a guy that's confident. He's a guy that's a world champion. He's a guy who throws a lot of punches. He's a guy who's younger, who's active, you know, who I know you can't go by this guy beat this guy, but he could beat that guy, but he could beat this guy, but you can't go by that in my business, in this business, because styles make fights. But you're right. He beat Ugas. You could say Ugas was a little older than when he fought him a little bit, than when Pacquiao fought him, and maybe that made a difference, whatever. But he did take a lot of punishment, Pacquiao, in the Ugas fight.
Public opinion is clearly divided. Some see Pacquiao's return as a chance for one last triumph. Others say it risks turning into a spectacle, just another celebrity-style fight. This debate shows the tension between legacy, aging, and the commercial power of nostalgia in today's boxing world.
Podcast or his network, his YouTube show.
1 second. Do you have? So you got Manny winning?
Yes.
You got Manny winning?
No, against Barrios.
Yeah.
No, I think look, every great fighter got one great fight left in him. That had to be Thurman and Manny. I think Manny seems to want to. Manny appears to be like how Bernard and Roy were. Like he's really one of those great old school fighters where you gotta he's got to go out on his shield.
Yeah.
Going out on your shield used to not mean just in any given fight. It used to mean that's how they went out, period, fighters. And Manny's like that.
I do not want to see. It's really hard to see Manny Pacquiao losing to Mario Barrios because of who they are. But who they are now, you know?
Sean, I do not want to see like Manny on the knee, mouthpiece out. That's going to hurt me.
Kevin McBride, Mike Tyson.
That's going to hurt me.
Roy Jones Jr. brings deep admiration to the table. He doesn't just talk about the comeback. He praises the intense training and dedication it took to get here. Jones says not many fighters approach comebacks with the discipline Pacquiao has. It shows this isn't just a casual return. It's a serious mission.
Feel about Manny Pacquiao?
No, I love Manny. I'm glad Manny going in too. I'm not saying that Manny is not capable. Manny is one of the dudes that I think definitely deserves to be in. Manny always has been and always will be one of my favorites because of the way he fights. I mean, a guy to come back after being knocked out in 2 of his first 3 fights, then come back and do all the things that Manny did. That story is also just as awesome as Vinny Pazienza's story. You feel me? I mean, come on. Most guys can't bounce back from a knockout period. He got knocked out early in his career twice and came back and did all this.
Well, you know what? Being that we're talking about these old fights, Roy, can you think you can rate your favorite 5 fights of your career of all time?
Of my career?
Yeah.
Yes. It would probably be James Toney, John Ruiz, Montel Griffin 2, Richard Hall, and probably Jeff Lacey.
Coach Greg Hackett delivers the harshest opinion yet. Calls the fight a money grab, not a real competition. While he respects Pacquiao's greatness, Hackett believes age has taken away too much of what made Manny dominant. He thinks the fight is more about selling nostalgia than chasing glory. It's a view some fans and insiders might not say out loud, but many are likely thinking,
sound like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might around and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like Ugas, the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on like that. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so I mean, why not? If he can make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I mean, I would love something like that. And that's a fight you know you got to get ready for.